stage. He's trying to achieve that LA look.
He was doing that before. He was doing that yesterday. It's just a little bit of crosstalk and stuff like that. It's when it's turned off. You won't notice it when we're playing. You won't hear it.
I know sometimes you get to see the band, you know, when we're up here, when they rehearse and things like that. We see them, yeah.
It does pay to like the music that you're listening to when you're working on them night to night for months, you know, month to month.
Barnsley will be very aware of what goes on.
How do you know if you don't know him?
I don't know him in as much as he'd come and say, "Oh, Kath, g'day, rah, rah, rah," sort of thing. But he has come right up from when he and the rest of the band probably unpacked a combi in Adelaide somewhere and put it on stage themselves. So,
well, I'm from Adelaide as well, which is his hometown, so it's hometown boys make good.
Do you ever get to meet him when you're doing this sort of work?
Yeah, you usually meet most of the acts, you know. I've known him for a while and that, so.
I know him well enough to talk to, you know. It's pretty... all the people on this whole production are all worked together quite a lot before, and so it's like a big family on the road, more or less.
Some people were saying that he's quite a friendly guy. Do you find him that way?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's very conscious of, you know, what's going on. If he's something he doesn't like, he'll sort of let you know, but he's quite a friendly person. Average sort of guy, I guess.
You usually get to meet all the overseas acts and all that as well.
Does any of the acts ever sort of treat you like scum? I mean, do some people tend to be a bit arrogant because you're just crew?
Not really. Most of the bands realise that the crew's an important part of their show, that do all the full work, so they can just virtually walk out on stage and everything will be right.
I know when Joe Cocker went on stage, I really wanted to see what he was going to be like before he went on. And Joe was as straight as a die drinking a milkshake, and it made me feel good when I saw him walk up there, you know, so...
Very few, when it comes to the international bands, we don't really... because of they've got a lot of press commitments and stuff, so they sort of come in, have a sound check and then come back for show, and then they get ushered out really quickly. So we don't get to meet many of them. The local bands, well, particularly Jim, he prefers to hang out with the crew more so. Like, he'll probably get around here really early on today and he'll come up and see how the vibe is amongst the crew and stuff. Yeah, Jimmy's...
So is he a bit of an exception? I mean, are many people like that?
No, very, there's no one in this, I don't think I know any singers in this country that are like Jim Barnes in terms of relationships with the crew. Like Jim's, everyone knows Jim and he knows everyone, you know. Like,
do you reckon he's just doing good publicity or is his heart in it?
He's one of the boys, Jimmy's one of the boys. I mean, yeah, that's it, he's one of the boys.
Why do you think he's like that? Did he start sort of being a roadie himself or anything?
Well, I'm sure he's been to a few setups and helped himself, and I mean, that's exactly how he is. I mean, I know him, but I don't know him. And I've worked with him for years, and he's always been the same. He's, you know, the bigger he's got, he hasn't really changed in terms of hanging out with the boys. You know, he's always there at the pub or having a drink. You know, he'll go and get a beer or whatever like that. He's a good guy, you know, cool guy. He's got a lot of respect among all of these guys here, you know. Well, we call him Sir James Barnes.
Okay. That's come from the side, Phil.
Something wrong with my gear here.
Yeah, I'd say so.
We have a problem here.
You have a very big problem.
You on now?
Do you have to work yourself up or calm yourself down, or what's the name of the game now?
I go back and have a shower, and then basically get my gear together and come back, and get back at least an hour before the show, and then start thinking about having a drink and whatnot, and get myself wound up for the show.
Do you always have a drink before you go on?
Not always. I like to though. Yeah, I like to.
What's a drink do for you before you go on?
It normally calms me down a bit because I get really nervous, you see. So yeah, I've been doing this that long, but I still get nervous, So it sort of calms me down a bit.
What sort of things do you get nervous about?
Oh, everything, It's just there's a million things that can go wrong out there, Hopefully everything's professional enough that it won't happen, but sometimes they do. So you just got to be prepared for that. And plus, I just get nervous about singing in front of 12,000 people. I get nervous about singing in front of 20 people, but that's not the point. If you get up there and first song, your curtain won't open or something, and the band starts playing, and one time in Paris, actually, we were with Cultures, or we were doing a show, and they introduced us, and we started playing, and for about half the song, they couldn't get the curtains out. They were jammed, So I just pulled them down in the end. It was just sort of horrific. And it ended up looking good, But there's lots of things. Your guitar amps can blow up, and, or some bug will happen, which by all normal procedures, you can't find it, and then it's something really, sneaky, hidden little thing, So, you end up sort of standing around on stage for 10 minutes while you try to fix things, But with these sort of shows, you try and have, like an out, try and have a cover for it, so that if something happens, somebody else can cover. But, it still gets nerve-wracking.